We're only on day 3 of the Monster Type Festival, and I can already see people commenting about Labrynth being very annoying to play against, so hopefully you finish the event soon if you don't like it, but I wanted to show you how I played the free-to-play loaner version of Labrynth. This deck is still very powerful just because Labrynth in its core engine with the big welcome, lady, lovely, Ariane furniture, that core engine is still extremely strong, and going first you can still win a lot of matches and easily breeze through the event if you know how to play this deck correctly. I will link in the description my analysis videos on both this loaner, a custom version of Labrynth that's much stronger, and some matches if you're interested in that, but what we're going to take a look at is me using the loaner in 2 matches, both of them going second and still winning both, but one against a mirror match and then one against a pretty cool Evil Eye deck. So if anything, stay tuned or check the description for the timestamp of the Evil Eye deck, because I think this deck is really awesome. Unfortunately, it still loses to Labrynth, so if you're wondering how to play against these decks, let's go into these matches and I'll show you what I did to win them. So I'm pretty sure that this matchup was a mirror match of the loaner decks. Going second with Labrynth against another Labrynth deck is usually just like an auto loss. It's probably why if you watch my one video where I showed you where I just normal summon Ariana, people just scooped right away because they were probably in the mirror match and they just realized it's not worth sitting there when I already have the advantage going first with Labrynth. The instances where you can win though is instances like this. If your opponent actually doesn't pop off crazily hard, like they don't have coup clock and big setups, the opponent here, they did what they could with the loaner. Ariana is the weaker one. They discard, so they're negative card advantage, but it doesn't really matter because you get it all back with the furniture anyways. They bring out the better one in Ariana, and they're able to set a big welcome off of the search from Ariana, right? So a decent end board, not the strongest, but big welcome will be able to do work during our turn, bounce back to Ariana, they'll help follow up for next turn. We have furniture to set up cards on turn 0, air quotes, right? So this means that these cards will be activatable when it's now passed back to us because we're doing this during the opponent's end phase. So we bring out Lady and we set the big welcome. We draw into another Lady, which isn't great, but it's fine because we do have the Ariana normal summon. The opponent is now going to trigger their big welcome, and we're going to trigger the Lady to set a trap from our deck. Now Ariana here can get a coup clock into rotation, which is super strong. So we do set the compulse. The opponent bounces back to Ariana, and their Lady is targetable and destructible because they don't have a set card right now. The Ariane is going to be able to draw and special summon a Lovely though, which is kind of crazy. They probably, I don't know if they just didn't have one, but they probably should have set a card off of this so that they could protect the Lady Labrynth here. But they opt to summon Lovely, and maybe they couldn't because again this version is kind of bricky. They didn't have anything that was worth setting, or they don't have set cards, but they did discard the Fair Welcome. So if anything, again, this is the disadvantage of playing Ariana, you have to discard. If anything, maybe you should have kept this so that when you would draw off the Ariane, knowing that you would go for the big welcome, you'd be able to protect the Lady that you bring to the field. This is the advanced thinking that you have to kind of apply to Labrynth, and you'll see this in my next match as well, right? We'll kind of break it down. So yeah, they're going to get their effects now. Lady will be able to set from their deck, so yeah, they get the protection anyways. Maybe that's what they were banking on, I guess. But I didn't reveal that I was on Labrynth until the end phase. Nonetheless though, we're going to go ahead and bring out our own Lovely, and bounce back our Ariane. So again, this is super strong because we were able to set this up turn 0. So Ariane didn't search coup clock, we searched field spell, and field spell in the grind game has so much utility. If you watch my previous video, again linked in the description, I talk about it. We popped the Archfiend Ghastly glitch that they attempted to set, and now Lovely is going to be able to either destroy a card on field or pop a card in the hand, and we trigger off the Stovey as well. So you can just see how going second we're still able to maintain card advantage. So I do get the Silver Castle off the field, and now I'm going to be able to wipe out the opponent's field, and you can see the setup here. It's, they got an Ariana in hand, but I mean, knowing that I'm against the loaner deck, having that knowledge, I know that the opponent's not on Duster, they're not on evenly matched, so my setup is safe. Whatever they have here, I'm going to likely be able to play through. I think they make a misplay. They probably didn't realize that Big Welcome was going to bounce their own card back, or maybe they did want to do that. Nonetheless though, they attempt to activate field spell, we pop it immediately, and they kind of just realize at this point there's no point in playing it out because we just have the perfect setup, and that's a GG. So this matchup was pretty cool in my opinion. I really think that the Evil Eye deck is one of the coolest decks that you could be playing for the event. Unfortunately, it does still lose to Labrynth, and you'll kind of see that here. So to start off, the opponent has the, I don't know if you'd call this a boss monster, but it's probably like their main deck monster, because it does get the quick effect to pop a special summon monster when it's equipped with the Evil Eye of Selene. So they got some decent extensions, field spell, the monster to dump a spell or trap, they got the Evil Eye of Selene, they're going to equip it to this monster, and then they're going to have a trap card as well and just end the turn. So the Evil Eye cards, they do have some quick effects that they can activate in their hand. But this is a pretty strong turn. We're going to start off, again, using the Chandelier, pitching the Ariana, which, you know, is not very good, but that's why we're getting rid of it. And we're going to be able to set a Welcome Labrynth. We hard draw field spell here. Because we activated a Labrynth card, we're also going to be able to drop the Lady on the field. Now, it's very important when you're looking at this board here to understand that while this card has the quick effect to target and destroy a special summon monster, because Lady is on the field with a set card, this card cannot be targeted and it can't be destroyed. So I'm playing around the Watcher here. And when I activate Field Spell, if I flip this face up to try to, you know, trigger Field Spell to destroy a card, my Lady now becomes unprotected. So you have to play very carefully around to make sure that your Lady maintains its indestructibility. So we're going to go ahead now and activate the Labrynth. We're going to set the Archfiend's Ghastly Glitch here first, then activate Welcome Labrynth. They do trigger this card, Familiar of the Evil Eye, which it says during your opponent's turn, quick effect, link summon one Evil Eye monster using monsters you control. And then when you do, you can also use an Evil Eye equip spell. So they can bring out like a big monster potentially, right? But because this effect is going to have to be summoned and resolve on a chain, the Labrynth effect to apply to Welcome Labrynth to destroy a card, we'll be able to actually pop this card first before the chain is resolved, and then they can activate a new chain, quick effect, link off. And so reading this card when they activated it actually was, I was going to pop their back row, right? But I was like, oh no, this card is probably a bigger threat. So I bring out the Ariana, and then I actually pop the card that they special summon to prevent the link summon here. Now Ariana is going to be able to search, and I'm going to trigger the Chandelier to come back to hand. They're going to just pop my Ariana right away because they realize that I know I'm playing around and popping the Lady by keeping a set card on field. So that's totally fine. Ariana can be destroyed. It is actually pretty smart because it means that if I did have a Coup Clock and I tried to big welcome, I wouldn't be able to bounce back the Ariana. So it's pretty decent. They're going to get the effect of the Evil Eye here, which is fine. We're then going to activate the Coup Clock that we searched off the Ariana so that we can activate a trap that we set this turn. So this makes the Archfiend Ghastly Glitch or the Big Welcome Labrynth live. And so now that we've used Coup Clock first and then the Chandelier pitching the Absolute King Backjack, we're going to be able to grab these Coup Clock back to hand here. So the Absolute King Backjack also triggers because it was sent to graveyard, and we're going to chain the Big Welcome right away here, simply because what's the point of looking at the cards if Big Welcome and Lady are going to shuffle the deck afterwards anyway. So we're going to chain all the effects at once so that by the time Backjack resolves, the cards to search will already have resolved as well. So this is our Coup Clock activation. Maybe make a little bit of a misplay here going for Lovely, but I figured like it's fine because I'm going to be able to re-special summon Silver Castle in defense anyways. The only thing I lose out on is it being in attack mode, but I'm playing for the resource game at this point, and Lovely's going to trigger to destroy the equip spell, which will make it the Watcher destroyable by battle and targetable again, and they're going to have to be forced to like recur this card by banishing resources. So now that the untargetable Lady is off the field, the opponent is going to go for the Evil Eye Defeat, which target one monster on the field or up to two if they control the equip spell, and return them to the hand. So they're going to target their monster to get the free dump and my Lovely to prevent this card from getting beat over, which is fine. We're going to still special summon back out the Silver Castle though, and Lovely will still pop the field spell. So we just have to pass our turn now. So again, a potential misplay. I maybe should have activated Coup Clock on a later chain link because if possible, I don't know if it was, but I haven't gone back to test, because I could have special summoned this to the field instead of bringing it back to hand, and then, oh yeah, no, I could have just done that, yeah, at the beginning of the chain link. So again, I made a misplay. If I would have special summoned this, I could have just bounced this back to hand instead of Silver Castle, and then I could have switched Silver Castle to attack and still beat over the Watcher. So yeah, that was a misplay on my part. Again, there's so many things you have to consider with Labrynth, and I didn't even realize that until I'm watching this replay back, right? So Backjack, this was the only trap I had. So again, I'm just setting it. It's probably not even worth setting because if your opponent knows you have it, they're not going to attack until they clear it, and it's not really useful. So at this point though, Archfiend Ghastly Glitch will activate to pop the Watcher. We're going to trigger off a bunch of effects now, including the setting of a new trap from Silver Castle here, in which case we get the Big Welcome Labrynth once again. And yeah, we're just going to get that infinite resource game going with Labrynth. Again, the opponent is not using a loner, so they could have Duster evenly matched, but with a field spell up, evenly matched is not going to be useful. So I kind of knew that, like, well, I don't have to fear evenly, I really only have to fear Duster, because even Lightning Storm can't be activated because of field spell now, right? So I was feeling pretty confident the opponent is going to go ahead in their main phase, and bring the Evil Eye Confrontation. I actually was not paying attention here. I thought they brought back the Evil Eye of Selene, so I made a misplay later on here. So I go ahead and I activate Coup Clock, and I'm like, whatever you do, I'm just gonna, you know, out-resource you, because I have Welcome Labrynth, I've got Compulse, and I've got trigger effects that are gonna pop off like crazy. So on the summon of the Watcher, which they special summon off the spell card, I'm gonna Big Welcome. They actually chain the Evil Eye Confrontation, and I was like, oh, because I think I know their card in hand is the card that they bounce, right? The card that lets them dump a spell or trap. So I was like, oh, they didn't bring back Evil Eye of Selene. So they're smart, and they pop my field spell here, which means I will not get the destruction effect off of Big Welcome from the field spell. However, because I bring Lovely from hand, because there's a one of in the structure deck, I can't, or in the loaner deck, I can't bring one out from deck. I am going to still be able to pop a card on the field, and what I opt to do here is actually pop the card in their hand so that they do not get the free special summon extension. They are going to now activate Evil Eye of Selene to reset the card, and we end up winning because the opponent surrendered, but we got an error from the server. But you can hear saw the opponent's cards glitching out there, indicating that they surrendered. So that was a GG, because the opponent realized even if they reset the card and they try to equip, we'll just chain the Compulse, which will out all their resources once again. They can still normal summon, but it didn't matter. We were still going to win that match. So GG's to that opponent, and that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you for watching, guys. Quantum is out.